Hi, everyone. I am Sherry Blythe, and I'm the current president for the board of the Austin Clubhouse. And it's my privilege to serve in that role. In my day job, I am the director of crisis services, substance use treatment, and justice initiatives with Integral Care, which is a local mental health authority in Travis County. I got involved in the Clubhouse really hearing about it through my work. However, having been involved, I really have to say the biggest draw for me always, and always will be in the future, is that the Clubhouse is a community of people who care, and it's a community of people who share their lives together and contribute to the betterment of the community together. And it's a wonderful place to belong. And I really hope anybody who is listening will check in and read about the Clubhouse, visit the Clubhouse, and just learn more, because it's a wonderful place that will just make you feel like a very alive and grateful human being. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Cole. I am an attorney here in the city of Austin and a member of the board of the Austin Clubhouse. I was asked to join the board of the Austin Clubhouse a few years ago. I first learned about the Austin Clubhouse as a volunteer on the St. David's Foundation's, what they used to call Community Health Access Committee, where I headed up the Healthy Minds subcommittee. We visited, were impressed with the work done by the Austin Clubhouse. The Clubhouse did not fit the model of what the St. David's Foundation required to provide funding to nonprofits working in the healthy minds or mental health space, because it did not use licensed social workers, and that was a key component for funding. But we were so impressed with the work of the Austin Clubhouse that an exception was made, and we were able to convince the foundation's board that the Clubhouse was worth investing in. I have myself contributed not only my time as a board member, but my funds personally to the mission of the Clubhouse. I grew up with a mother who suffered paranoid schizophrenia. I have 4 siblings. We grew up with my mother and grandmother in inner city Houston. Both my wife and I have mental health issues ourselves. And so the issue hits close to home for me. And it's one of the reasons that I know the importance of having a space where people with mental health issues can have a community, come together as a community, not be isolated, and work on themselves, and while they prepare to re-enter the workforce, or even while they're still in the workforce, but simply providing a safe space where they can be with others and feel comfortable. And so I'm very proud of the work of the Austin Clubhouse, and I'm extremely proud of what our staff and members have been able to do during this pandemic, where it has been a challenge to our model, but nonetheless, we have persevered and continued to provide support, critical support, to our members. And so I would encourage all to be generous and consider giving to this worthwhile mission. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Lowe. I'm the Executive Director of Austin Clubhouse. I want to thank you for joining us for our first We Are Not Alone party, celebrating the power of community to transform mental illness. It is an honor to be with you here, even if virtually. And I am so grateful to be part of this community. It includes members, staff, and most of all, you. Mental illness is never chosen. It is not a character flaw. It often descends upon its host like a virus, stealing their dreams of a long and happy life with family and friends. Medical professionals in the U.S. have warned that mental illness is second only to COVID-19 as a public health menace. Worse still, mental illness has increased during and because of COVID-19. Austin Clubhouse offers an antidote to the isolation imposed by COVID-19. At Austin Clubhouse, members and staff are working side by side each day to provide a supportive community where mental health recovery can flourish. Members, not patients or clients, participate in the work of operating Austin Clubhouse and directly contributing to their own and others' recovery. We believe that the Clubhouse model of non-clinical, peer-led recovery offers a unique opportunity to understand and meet the diverse needs of adults living with mental health diagnoses and improve health outcomes for everyone. More than 1,200 members call Clubhouse home. We believe that the Clubhouse model of non-clinical, peer-led, strengths-based recovery offers a unique opportunity to understand and meet the diverse needs of adults living with mental health diagnoses and improve health outcomes for everyone in our community. Tonight, we will share our hopes for a better future with you. Joining me are two of Austin Clubhouse's amazing board members, Kevin Cole, who you've just seen, and Athena McClendon.
Hello, I'm Athena McClendon, and I'm happy to be here with you. I am a board member and a proud Austin Clubhouse member. A little later, I will share some of my story with you and tell you why I believe Austin Clubhouse is so important to the well-being of our community.
I welcome you to tonight's celebration of the Austin Clubhouse community. Our founders, our members, our staff, and you. We will show you what a judgment-free community looks like through testimonials, poetry, humor, and a virtual tour. We hope you will enjoy the evening and be inspired by compassion and action. Our staff have weathered the storm of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have found ways to stay connected by Zoom, phone, and other social media.
The Clubhouse began back when a group of former patients at a psychiatric hospital in New York met informally. They created this group with the thought that they would have a support system. And they found that when they met in local libraries and churches and things like that, they had a better quality of life. We now use the term clubhouse, and we embrace that term because it gives the clear message that members have a place to belong, where they're needed, where they're wanted and expected. And it's through the daily work and the relationships that are built naturally, organically in the day-to-day where members find healing and purpose and community.
Austin Clubhouse is community-based and strives to help members join and remain a part of society with education, pre-vocational, health, and mental health support. The Austin Clubhouse is an evidence-based, non-clinical approach to mental health recovery that began in the 1940s.
Clubhouse participants are called members as opposed to patients or clients, and the activities of the program focus on their strengths and abilities, not their illness.
For 10 years, we have been a part of the worldwide Clubhouse movement with nearly 300 clubhouses in over 30 countries.
Austin Clubhouse has over 1,100 members in Central Texas and continues to grow.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we continue to support members through our virtual Clubhouse offerings.
Today, coming together is more important than ever. The pandemic has increased isolation and anxiety for people everywhere, making the Clubhouse even more essential during these uncertain times.
About 12 years ago, we started looking around and just, when I say we, I mean NAMI Austin. I was serving on the board at the time. And I think what we recognized was there were supports for people that had a mental health diagnosis, but not really, they were all so clinical. And we really felt like there was a missing piece of the puzzle. And so we started to look all around the nation for a model that might fill this void that we felt like there was in our city. And honestly, now I can't imagine our city without the Clubhouse because it fits so well and it was exactly what we were looking for. Because all of a sudden it felt like we found this incredible model that offered so much more than just a diagnosis or a support group, but really a way of living, a way of re-entering maybe a life that one had left. And the biggest thing we heard was, why doesn't Austin already have a Clubhouse? And so that's kind of where we started and why we chose the Clubhouse model. Of course, New York Fountain House was hugely inspirational to us. And we felt like having a model that was started by people who are actually experiencing the very thing that we were trying to support made sense. So that was kind of where we came from in finding the model and implementing it in Austin. I think that over the last 10 years, mental health treatment has really changed. Even when we were looking for a model, just even the vocabulary, the vernacular around mental health has changed so much. Without the stigma, a lot of times just this taking away the stigma alone helps people so much in the recovery journey, right? Because then they're not afraid to seek out something like the Clubhouse that maybe all someone needs is just someone to say, yeah, me too. And I'm just so thankful that the Austin community is so receptive and we have so many partners. And I hope that that grows, because I think one of my favorite things about the Clubhouse is, you know, someone who walks in the door and it might be their first step out of the door in years, right? And they come to this place and it takes so much bravery. But then to watch that person evolve and gain so much pride in their work and confidence in their skills, and then to see them become a leader in the Clubhouse and support other people that are walking in the door that first time, and then to launch into their careers and really truly, I mean, career paths that they've always dreamed about doing, but maybe just lost their way a little bit. And I think that is so inspiring, and I think that's why it's so important for me to continue to hear about people's stories within the Clubhouse, because that's what we need right now in this world, I believe. And I hope, you know, Austin Clubhouse has been here 10 years and has come an incredibly far way, but I can't wait to see what the next 10 years holds.
We have this award to present to you, Lisa. This is a Visionary Award, and it reads, "Thank you for bringing mental health awareness to light through the founding of Austin Clubhouse."
Before I discovered the Austin Clubhouse, I had quite a few problems as far as just feeling stigmatized about my mental illness. I'm diagnosed with a severe, somewhat still stigmatizing to say, but I have schizophrenia. And it was really feeling a sense of isolation that I felt like I was alone. I mean, I knew statistically that other people had this diagnosis, but I wanted to talk to them about my symptoms and kind of reality check with someone that could identify with what I was going through. Austin Clubhouse was great because they're all about community, and it's really about acceptance. I became capable of talking about my mental health and put it behind me pretty quickly, just by being able to talk about it with a friend. The moment when I realized that I was getting help at the Austin Clubhouse was cathartic for me, and I was able to just make progress. Was when I found a friend that had the same diagnosis I had, and he was farther along in his recovery than I was, and we would go for the walks together, and we would just talk about things and normal things, and it just brought me back to how it was before I had an onset. Life now is really about stability, and there's a sense of hope and adventure in my life, but I've really learned a lot from the experience, and it's not just about introspection for me, although that's a big part of it. It's also about the strength that I give and I take from the community. And though that's what my life's about now. It's community and service.
My name is Meghan Weller, and I am the immediate past president of the Austin Clubhouse Board of Directors, and I have been on the Board of Directors since 2015. In my personal life, I work for a hospital system in government relations, and actually became acquainted with the Clubhouse through my work at the state capitol when I was an employee of a state legislator who worked on health and human services. And I choose to support Austin Clubhouse for a variety of reasons, but I think what has always impressed me about the Clubhouse is the ability to help individuals find meaningful work when they may have been out of work for a long time due to a diagnosis or treatment. And furthermore, I think that the community that the Clubhouse offers is something that can't really be replicated elsewhere. Many times individuals suffering from severe or persistent mental illness don't have a family, don't have a community of their own. And the Clubhouse offers something that individuals can come to, can leave when they need to, can come back when they need to, and provide not only a feeling of community, but a feeling of belonging where there may not have been any in previous times. So those are a couple of the reasons I support the Clubhouse, and I hope you will too.
seek a warmer sky. Should you be blown back, know that I will always run to greet you. Still surprised to catch you every time. Armed with this small butterfly net only, I will face the world alone and never be lonely. To calm that wicked wind, and if you go, you could be gone forever. I will play well here by and by and by and by. Armed with this small butterfly net only, I will face the world alone and never be lonely. Up and up you go, for to steal the secrets of the heavens. Will you share with me, my bright and brilliant spy? Should you be blown back, know that I will always run to greet you. Still surprised to catch you every time. Still surprised to catch you by and by and by and by.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Kyle, we're so glad you're here with us today, and I just want to ask you a few questions about how we got started with the Austin Clubhouse. And I'll start, what motivated you to start up the Austin Clubhouse?
Well, first of all, I have to say it took a whole community. It wasn't just me, or it just wasn't Lisa. We were at the forefront, but it took a whole community. It took a whole host of people, with different talents, with different gifts and different expertise in different areas, and pulling them all together and working together. My personal involvement, I had been affected by mental illness, and I wanted to give back to the community from which I was from. And so I went to a NAMI meeting and was introduced to some people there, and they started talking about this Clubhouse model. So I went to an open house and I met Lisa and Kelly and started talking with them. And then my wife was very instrumental in getting me involved and telling me this is something that I should really consider. My background is early stage in startup companies. I've had the opportunity to start several different technology companies. I work with startup companies through the whole conceptual phase from the very beginning to the end. So this was lined up with that same model with my expertise. So everything takes people, the plan, and the money. And if you can tie those three things together, you can find success. And so meeting Lisa and the team behind that and the people that we were able to put together, I realized this is a winning team. So that was the first thing that I realized. And then we went to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I saw the model, the Clubhouse model in full effect and full swing, and seeing it in operation. And I was like, this is an incredible model. And it has a great network, a great backbone coming out of New York City and the International Center for Clubhouse Development. So there was a backbone to it. It just wasn't a fly-by-night operation that wasn't just a dream of people. I mean, there was a backbone to it. And so I decided I'm used to taking risks. I'm used to doing that. So I got our family foundation involved. We made a 4-year commitment financially to get it literally going. We partnered with NAMI on the funding, and we were the 2 early funding people involved. But that's how we got involved, and it just took, like I said, a whole community. Like I said earlier, it was a full out, a good battle to fight. And I found it harder and more difficult starting a nonprofit than I did one of the for-profit companies that I've had the opportunity to start and be a part of in the past. But it was all well worth it. I mean, it was a lot of work. So for me, it was more rewarding in my heart and me as a person, and my emotions and my feelings. There was more satisfaction because you were literally helping your community. You were helping an individual. You were helping people. And that was a lot more rewarding to me than the successes and the startup companies that I had done in the for-profit world. You know, and you're working with people's time. They're not being paid to do this. You know, you're working with people's passion. They're cause-oriented. You know, you're working with them as an individual. Their time and all the time that they give. And so this took a lot of people and a lot of hours and a lot of commitment. So
it has to be a labor of love.
It was, yes, it was a true labor of love. And to see where it is today is just unbelievable. It brings tears to my eyes. I mean, I cannot believe where, like you and you know, all these people have taken it, and all the people that have been involved, and you know, it's wonderful to see what's happened and what has transpired.
What about the Clubhouse model of mental health recovery attracts you?
Well, there's two things that attract me. First of all, I had never heard mental health and recovery go together, and so the recovery model, and that's what really drove me, that there can be recovery. And then the other side of the model was that it was member-based, member-driven, everybody is the same, everybody is equal, there's no hierarchy, there's not the doctor and the client or the doctor and the patient. Everybody's equal, everybody's working for the same goal of recovery. So it was that everybody empowering one another and utilizing everybody's gifts and talents that each individual brought as a member and as the staff. And the staff and the ED were just facilitators and empowerers. There was, like I said, there was no hierarchy. Everybody was equal. It was all inclusive. It didn't matter where you came from in your walk in life. You could have been an attorney. You could have been working at HEB. You could have been a teacher. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. This is a home for you. And it doesn't matter where you are in your mental health condition or your diagnosis or your affectedness. It doesn't matter. Everybody supports one another. And I think the stories that come out, the success stories that come out, and it's okay. It's okay to struggle here. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to feel low. It's okay to feel lonely. Just keep coming back. Just keep coming back, and it works. And the success rate, and I think something else that the model of recovery, seeing all the different clubhouses around the world, there was something there. Like you asked me, why did I get involved? There's something there. Not all these clubhouses around the world would be successful if it wasn't a successful model. And we could do that here in Austin. We could bring one here to Austin. NAMI had the foresight of that, and we just got pulled in.
It's great. It's great. There is something, it seems like the natural thing that we should understand about helping one another and being there for one another.
Right.
So.
And I think that when you speak about a little bit of the future, the one thing that I've appreciated over the years that I've seen is the war against the stigma of mental illness and mental illness being accepted, because it is so prevalent in our community, and no one is immune. And you can be triggered at any point in time in your life. You may be in your 40s, you may be in your teens, but it can happen. And I think by taking down that stigma and people talking about it and having it more accepted opens up the doors for more people to get involved and to help.
Thank you for everything you've done for this organization and what you're doing in other places where you're living now, I'm sure. So thank you for everything you've done for Austin.
Well, I just want to say that you know, it took a community. You know, it was for the community, by the community, and professionals in every walk of life from Austin, you know, to make it happen and to get involved. So I give credit to the whole, and I do have to give credit to my wife.
Living alone is actually a big deal for me. It's something that I never thought was going to be possible for me, or just didn't know if it would ever happen. I couldn't hold down a job long enough to have a stable income. I couldn't even go to the store by myself or do any basic life skills that you would need to do to live by yourself. The Clubhouse was definitely helped me in every step of the way and made it even more possible for that to happen. They helped me get a Social Security lawyer, which helped me get Social Security disability and able to have a stable income enough to afford my own apartment. We would take shopping trips to the grocery store, and I used to not even be able to walk into a grocery store, but going with the Clubhouse got me to the point where I was able to start going by myself. The Clubhouse just helped me learn life skills in general that you just need to know to support yourself and take care of yourself. Also, I live 5 minutes from the Clubhouse now. And it just makes me, I'll say this a million times, the Clubhouse is my safe place, and it's one of the only places I feel okay and safe. And it just makes it all that much easier that they're just down the street from me.
Hello, I am Athena McClendon. I would like to tell you some of my story and encourage you to give to the Austin Clubhouse. I give my time, talent, and treasure to the Austin Clubhouse because they were community to me at a time when I was lacking that in my life. Austin Clubhouse is very important to me. I look back at the last few years of my life, and without a doubt, if it was not for the Austin Clubhouse, I would not be here today. Thoughts of suicide, depression, darkness, it surrounded me. It wasn't even comforting anymore. It was almost like a living death sentence. I knew if I didn't have community, if I didn't get support, I was going to be another statistic. I was able to come to the Clubhouse to see it for myself, to experience a work order day, to actually be a part of a community that was accepting. And it didn't matter what my label was or my ethnicity or my background or whatever I lacked. It's what I have today. And they accepted me for who I am. And I was able to grow again and feel a part of something bigger than myself. Getting me out of the isolation and depression, I had somewhere to go. And because I had a place to go, I had time to live again. I discovered my talents and skills again. They didn't leave me because I had a diagnosis. They were still there. But I was able to shine at the Clubhouse. And that's why it's important to me, because any other
person, male, female, gay, straight, lesbian, Catholic, Jewish, doesn't matter. You're a person. And at the Clubhouse, you're accepted. And the reason to give to that kind of cause is not only because of the research and the resources and the outreach, right? It's not just because of that. It's because of the inclusivity of the membership, how global it is. It's not just concentrated. It's everywhere. We've been touched by mental health, whether we want to talk about it or not. Some cultures, some places, it's still stigmatized. And I want to be a part of the movement that erases that stigma and offers a blanket of support, resources, outreach, and friendship. And that's what the Austin Clubhouse has done for me and has done for so many other people.
Hi, my name's Kristen Thompson, and I'm a member of the Austin Clubhouse. I'm also a peer facilitator of Poetry as a Tool for Wellness. The poem that I'm going to read is by John Fox, who is the founder of the Institute for Poetic Medicine. And I facilitate Poetry as a Tool for Wellness that is partnered with the Institute for Poetic Medicine. And this poem is by him. It's called The Listening Language of Air. When people who, with hearts and minds, engaged, take care with one another, and long enough to pause, to let silence and words spoken from the heart have a deeper share of whatever time is given them, so that our breath, mine and yours, enriched by listening, touches air. That elements become a living presence, which breathes in silence, breathes in our words, our voice, and then, when breathing out, opens us up to life, a sense of grace. As if what we breathe together in this way is a language of listening, a universal quiet wherein we understand each other, and even when we don't, are aware of how it joins us here. And here's a poem I wrote. These days there is a place in me that is deeply vulnerable, so deep that it's as if God whispered his heart to me, a whisper I have to lean in to hear. I want to hear, but it's so quiet. I'm not muted, but I find it hard to ask his spirit to speak louder so I can voice his words. Am I frightened that what he asks will be the steps in unlocking the doors that I've long shut, or maybe never knew could open? There is a vulnerability in me that is too quiet. I don't know how to loosen these lips, to share more of me. Who would listen? Who would hear and feel my heartstrings dangling in midair, looking for someone's tenderness? To let my words softly land in the palm of their hands and hold them there for a while. Let my vulnerability be unearthed.
I was depressed. I felt like there was nothing I could do sometimes. Like, I'm just stuck like this. I just felt so lonely. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to go. So those type of problems, I was just not getting anywhere in life. The very first day, I just felt like, oh, this is the place for me. I'm going to come back more. And I came back almost every day for a few months. Yeah, the first day I was there, I realized this is the place to be, to make my life a little bit better and make my life more meaningful. I was there all the time. People got to know me. I felt good being there. And in the kitchen, I swept. I was able to go in there and start sweeping. And they appreciated how I swept because I was very thorough, and they appreciated that. And then when I was in the business unit, they they had me working on a flyer, and I felt like I was being used. Like, what was different about it was I felt welcomed. I felt like I could trust the people there. I felt like I could talk to people there and they would listen, and they would kind of help me navigate the world a little bit better. And I tell people about the Clubhouse as much as I can at work. I started last year in April through the Transitional Employment Program. They told me that I would be best suited. At first, I thought I couldn't do it because of how far I was away from Goodwill. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I don't care how far away I am. This is something I need to do in my life. It's something I need to include in my life. So I made it work. And the Clubhouse encouraged me. May was there all the time. I was able to call her in times of stress. I was able to call the Clubhouse in times of stress. I still am able to. I've been working there since April of last year, and in October and then I was permanently employed in October. So in October, I will have a year of being permanently employed, and they understand my weaknesses and they help me through them. And if it wasn't for the Clubhouse, I would have never found this job, and I probably would have never applied to it or even think that I could do it. So it's really nice that I have the Clubhouse to encourage me and keep me going in this job. And this helped me through a lot, to make me tough. It made me brave, and made me do things I didn't realize I could do in a long time.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy. I'm a psychiatrist in Austin and a member of the Austin Clubhouse board. I first learned about the Clubhouse model when I was living in St. Louis, Missouri. The Independence Center is St. Louis's clubhouse, and I believe it's the second largest clubhouse in the world, and it's really a remarkable place. Working there and training there really helped shape my understanding of mental illness and my approach to caring for people living with mental illness. Dealing with the symptoms of depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and substance dependence are hard enough, but the social isolation, the stigma, work, and financial stressors that often go along with it make recovery really difficult. So for people living with mental illness, the clubhouses offer members a place to socialize, to find a sense of purpose, to work, and to be part of a community. In medicine, we talk a lot about evidence-based care. So it's really important to know that there's actually been a lot of research proving that Clubhouse members have fewer hospitalizations and are less likely to be incarcerated. They're also more likely to be employed. But most importantly, members have better physical and mental health, and they feel better. So naturally, I was ecstatic when I learned about the Austin Clubhouse opening a few years after I moved here. And I'm so, so proud now to be a member of the board.
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a salad bowl today, and I will gladly pay you Wednesday for a vegetable souffle. I tried to pay you Thursday with a lunch card procured by May, and when it came to Friday, there was nothing left to say. Salad boys.
When I moved to Austin last year, I didn't know a lot of people, and I'm very crazy about mental health advocacy, awareness, and education. So I wanted to meet like-minded people, and I didn't find that many. What I noticed here in Austin, particularly as compared to DC where I was coming from, was that it was time consuming to find a mental health provider, service provider. I was just looking for therapy, and it was hard. It took me a while to find somebody, and it led me to create the nonprofit called the Mental Wellness Network, because I wanted to make access to mental health care a little more easier for folks that are seeking it, just because I realized that there was a gap there. Eventually, finding the Austin Clubhouse was helpful for me in meeting with people that have the same goals as I have. I know that y'all do mental health advocacy and you do mental health education and awareness, which are things that are in line with what I want and my purpose. So that gives me more hope. Once you're more aligned with your purpose, you feel more hopeful. And that's really how I feel. When I joined, everybody was so nice. They were so friendly. And I remember when I wasn't on the calls anymore, several people called me, like, they checked in on me and they're like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? You okay? And for me, that meant quite a lot. But also knowing that the Clubhouse helps folks with, jobs and just living a normal and higher quality of life. That is, for me, what I find very interesting and made me want to be part of that, because we have the same goal. For a long time, I felt like I didn't have a purpose. Discovering mental health advocacy and being part of the mental health community here in Austin kind of gave me purpose, and then it made me hopeful. So we've been in a pandemic and things have been really hard on a mental note. It's just been difficult. There's just so much going on in the world right now. And I find that just having somebody that, say, calls you to check up on you just makes such a huge difference. Is that I have more hope than I did before, because I see it in the community, in the Austin Clubhouse community, where, there are folks that are struggling with mental health conditions, but they're thriving, they're living a good life, So knowing that makes me happy, and it gives me hope. As somebody that struggles with anxiety, sometimes you don't feel as hopeful as you should. But when you see somebody else that either has an issue like yours, or has an even worse issue, maybe, that has more difficulty, then you realize that you're not alone. And when it comes to mental health care, just that feeling of not being alone is so it's so helpful in giving you hope.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for your commitment to mental health recovery, to compassion, to empowerment, and to side-by-side leadership. Because of you, we are not alone. We wish to thank our sponsors and auction donors: Antonelli's, Gail Ayers, Sherry Blythe, Laura Buchema, Mary Jane Burson, Kevin Cole, Kyle and Kim Hughes, Hyperware, Jester King, John Krakowski, Christopher Martinez, Diane Phillips, Denise Shade, Sorrento's Coffee, Jacqueline Steinis, Janet and Joseph Steinis, the Uplift Ministries of University Presbyterian Church, Amy Walton, MD, Meghan Weller, Convenience West Barbecue, William Chris Wines, Yeti, and Lisa and Stephen Yock. We also wish to thank our board of directors: Sherry Blythe, Kevin Cole, Meghan Weller, Kobe Chase, George Dixon, Athena McClendon, Jennifer Tucker, and Amy Walton. We are united in the hope for a better future where all are safe, healthy, happy, loved, and loving.
Finally, we offer this blessing, written by Reverend William Sloane Coffin. May love bless you and keep you. May love's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May love give you the grace not to sell yourself short, grace to risk something big for something good, grace to remember that the world is now too dangerous for anything but truth and too small for anything but love. May love take your minds and think through them. May love take your lips and speak through them. May love take your hearts and set them on fire. We hope you have enjoyed this evening, and we wish you all the best.